visuals come from northwestern Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Thousands of people gathered for the mass funeral of the 18 people in Bannu city. At least 13 civilians were killed and around 40 others injured in twin suicide bombings on Tuesday evening. Among the deceased were 6 children. The terrorist attack took place at a military base in Bannu. It was around 6:30 p.m. local time, just after Iftar. People had broken their fast during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan in a nearby busy market teeming with shoppers.
We were sitting down to break our fast when suddenly there was a loud explosion, causing the windows in the house to shatter, with glass falling on me. We were injured and heavy gunfire began. Many houses in the area were damaged.
The intensity of the explosions was so high that the roofs and walls of several houses in the area collapsed. Over a dozen people got buried under the rubble.
The force of the explosion threw me several feet away, causing injuries to my hand, head, and feet. The glass shards from the blast caused severe head injuries. One of my brothers was injured. The explosion was so intense that it caused significant damage to the neighborhood. Many people are still trapped under the rubble, while several others are injured. Many have lost their lives.
A mosque adjacent to the army cantonment's entrance also collapsed. Several worshippers were reportedly trapped under the debris.
My uncle used to break his fast in the mosque. As usual, he was in the mosque during the Maghrib call to prayer. People were busy breaking their fast when an explosion occurred, in which my uncle and the women in the house, a total of 6, died in the explosion.
Let's understand how the incident happened. Suicide bombers drove vehicles loaded with explosives towards the army compound in Bannu. The target was to enter the high-security military zone. They rammed into the boundary wall of the compound. When they were intercepted by security personnel at the gate, the terrorists detonated the explosives, causing massive blasts. The attack does not end here. The blasts were made to create chaos so that other terrorists can infiltrate the army camp. The terrorists were heavily armed. They stormed the military compound and fired rocket-propelled grenades during the attack. A fierce gun battle began between the militants and the soldiers. Gunshots were fired early on Wednesday as security forces searched for remaining attackers. The Pakistan Army said 5 soldiers were killed in the attack, but it's believed the actual toll could be significantly higher. On the other side, 16 terrorists were neutralized, of whom 4 were suicide bombers. Bannu is located in the northwest province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa that borders Afghanistan. Several armed groups are active in this region. Pakistan is battling a surge in attacks by its own chapter of the Islamist Taliban movement known as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP. The militant group Jaish Al-Fursan, linked to the TTP, claimed responsibility for this attack in Bannu. The group referred to the operation as Operation Intiqam-e-Lal Masjid. Now see this. Jaish Al-Fursan has released this video evidence on social media featuring its fighters who executed the suicide bombing at the Bannu cantonment. This attack in Bannu marks the 3rd such incident in Pakistan since the start of Ramadan. Bannu cantonment itself has been a repeated target, with deadly attacks occurring in November and July of 2024. Islamabad consistently voices concerns that the banned TTP uses Afghan soil to launch attacks accusing the Taliban government in Kabul of inaction against cross-border militancy. However, the Afghan Taliban denies these allegations. So why does the TTP launch these attacks? The objectives are clear: to impose their strict interpretation of Sharia law across Pakistan, overthrow the government and establish an Islamic caliphate. They fiercely oppose the Pakistan military's operations in the tribal areas, viewing them as an invasion. They aim to expel Pakistani government influence from the former federally administered tribal areas of FATA and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Adding to the complexity, the porous border with Afghanistan facilitates the movement of militants and the spread of extremist ideologies. The Taliban's resurgence in Afghanistan in 2021 emboldened the TTP, providing them with momentum and refuge. Beyond territorial goals, many TTP attacks are symbolic, designed to send a chilling message to the Pakistani state, military, and civilian population. High-profile attacks against security forces, government officials, and civilians are meant to create fear and destabilize public confidence in the government. This is not a new phenomenon. Remember the horrific attack on the Army Public School in Peshawar in 2014, where over 150 people, including 134 children, were brutally murdered. The TTP has claimed responsibility for a long list of devastating attacks, including the assassination of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, the attack on Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai, Lahore church bombing, the Karzaz bombing in 2007, and the 2015 Peshawar Shia mosque bombing. The list goes on. Pakistan has witnessed a significant uptick in terrorist activities recently, particularly in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan provinces. This surge followed the TTP's decision to end its ceasefire with the government in November 2022, signaling a renewed and aggressive campaign of violence. As Pakistan struggles to combat the rising tide of terrorism, one thing is clear: the war on terror is far from over. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.